We're monitoring what's going on throughout the Middle East as Iran is, well, they tried something.
But right now, it looks like we've seen the interceptor missiles fired up over Doha, Qatar, into the night sky, and no evidence yet that any of those missiles have landed on their targets.
Yeah, I mean, it's crossing over Reuters as well right now that the Qatar air defenses intercepted this missile attack on the U.S. military base there. Also crossing UAE airspace is currently closed based on flight paths and air traffic control audio that is coming in via flight radar. So a lot happening.
A lot happening all over the place. And Trump truthed out. Did you guys see the truth from Trump? The truth from Trump. See the way I did that? He said former President Medvedev from Russia casually throwing around the N-word, nuclear, point that out, saying that he and other countries would supply nuclear warheads to Iran. Did he really say that? Or is this just a figment of my imagination? If he did say that, and if confirmed, please let me know. All capitalized immediately. The N-word, again, nuclear. Should not be treated so casually. I guess that's why Putin's the boss, by the way. If anyone thinks our hardware was great over the weekend, far and away the strongest and the best equipment we have, 20 years advanced over the pack, is our nuclear submarines, which are just ferocious. They're the most powerful and lethal weapons ever built and just launched 30 Tomahawks. All 30 hit their mark perfectly. So in addition to our great fighter pilots, thank you to the captain and the crew. That would be crazy. I don't think they would ever do that, but this is about getting under the skin of everybody. This is what this is about. Let's get under the skin of everybody. So what do you guys need? Can we provide you with something? What could we do? They're not going to provide them with anything. Oh, they might, if they could give them some low level, but they're not giving them anything big. It isn't. It isn't going to happen because by doing that, you're opening up a much greater chance at something going horribly wrong. And you don't want that. Nobody wants that. And Putin would say, stop it. It's okay for because, like, I would expect that from Kim Jong-un. Like, that's something you expect from that cat. Okay, hey, what's up? It's me, Kim. Hey, what do you guys need? Right, we need nuclear weapons. Yeah, we'll get it right there. Do you guys have any Bacardi? Do you have any posters?
Any food?
Yeah. Do you have any posters? I got gout. What can you do for gout? Can you do something for gout? He's always got a mess. You guys, my sister's mean. Can you guys do something with my sister? She wants to take over the world. Earlier today, Thomas Massie, I don't know, he was on with Tim Pool. And if you guys don't know who Tim Pool is, where did you see that? He's got a big billboard, right?
Yeah, he's got a billboard. If you're coming 65 southbound from the Rosa Parks direction, it's right there before you start getting into the city.
Yeah. So, because Massey's been look, I'm not a fan of us going to war, but this wasn't war. This was a strike. Trump has got the opportunities, as has other presidents, in this situation, if they feel there's a threat to strike. So this was what this was. This was not us going to war. Now, if it gets deeper, then yes, he better go to Congress. At this point in time, though, that wasn't it. And Thomas Massie came out and said something about it.
No, I don't share that concern. But I have another concern, and that is that 3 bombings to neutralize Iran may turn out to be the 2025 version of 2 weeks to slow the spread. This could turn into a protracted, prolonged engagement, and I'm here to represent the base of the MAGA party that got Trump elected. Most of us were tired of the wars in the Middle East and Eastern Europe, and we were promised that we wouldn't be engaging in another one. Yet here we see this happening.
But we're not fully there. Okay, so there's no injuries today. I have a feeling a lot of this was back channeled. They knew what was coming, and they were prepared for it. It was a way for them to save a little bit of face, because that's what you have to do in this situation. When you're a leader, a dictator, you've got to show that you're not afraid of the great Satan and his friend. And, and they know that, okay, this is what we're going to do. And we'll fire some stuff off. They give us a warning of 30 minutes or an hour. And you go from there, because they recognize, look, if not, they're going to come harder. Now the question is, will there be regime change, which is a battle that I want no part of. I was told no.
This mission was not and has not been about regime change. The president authorized a precision operation to neutralize the threats to our national interests posed by the Iranian nuclear program and the collective self-defense of our troops and our ally Israel.
So I was told no, there won't be regime change, but not quite no.
The president's posture and our military posture has not changed. The president was just simply raising a question that I think many people around the world are asking. If the Iranian regime refuses to give up their nuclear program or engage in talks, we just took out their nuclear program on Saturday night, as you all know. But if they refuse to engage in diplomacy moving forward, why shouldn't the Iranian people rise up against this brutal terrorist regime? That's a question the president raised last night. But as far as our military posture, it hasn't changed.
Well, how exactly would they do that? I mean, you'd love to see him do that, right? You'd love to see him stand up and do that. But they're not happy. A lot of people in the street weren't happy. They feel like, hey, we were attacked. This is between you and them. And I don't know how many people were killed, if any, over the weekend. It was pretty, precise where a lot of these places were, especially the 3 nuclear facilities are kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but there's a lot of people screaming for regime change. This guy always wants war. This is John Bolton, no relation to Michael. Always, and I mean always wants war.
Well, I think it should be America's declared policy. The regime itself is the problem here. It has been all along, both through its nuclear program, its ballistic missile program, its support for terrorist groups in the Middle East, around the world. This regime's been in power 46 years. It will not change its behavior. So the only foundation for long-term peace and security in the Middle East is to overthrow the Ayatollahs.
Okay, there's not a... He would overthrow your kindergarten teacher if given the opportunity. Dude wants war all the time.
John Bolton has never met a bomb he didn't want to drop.
On anybody. Do you remember when Trump used to talk about it when he'd be in a room and John Bolton goes, just sit behind me. And he goes, you guys better do what I say. I don't want war, but that guy behind me, he is always ready for war. And he's been on a bunch of shows this week talking about what? War. That's all he wants. And I go back to this when it comes to, because, Trump tweeted out something last night about, well, we can do, MEGA. Is that what it is? Make Iran great again. Well, I don't even know what that means, but still, we can't, let's not get involved. We're not good at this, right? There's some things we're great at. We're great at breaking stuff. We're great at crushing everybody's soul. We're great at dominating when it needs to, but we're not, and nor do we want to be in a position where we have to rebuild and try to put somebody in place that, let's be real, because this is a lot about Bibi. There's a lot about Bibi that this is this weekend. Even when Trump thanked everybody during his speech the other night, he thanked Israel first before he even thanked our men and women. This is a lot about Bibi. So my fear is, doesn't matter. Like, Bibi wants destruction, he wants regime change, but he's never going to be the person, like, we're like, what do you think of this guy? This guy, huh? And he's going to be like, yeah, I don't think so. all right, we're going to take him. What about this guy? You know what? For a minute I thought, but nope. I feel like it's not going to be perfect for him. And that's a lot of what this is about, which is frustrating. There's no doubt about it. Frustrating. And when you sit there and think to yourself, okay, we've done this, right? You wanted this done. We went, we did it. Now you guys are still getting hammered. And now it went from, this is not about regime change, to, well, maybe we should probably get rid of these guys are bad. I always go back to this. I don't know what the next guy's like, but this guy's weakened. And this is where you want him, weakened. So let Israel handle it from here on out, which is, I think, what we're going to do. And I don't think, they fired a bunch of stuff today. It didn't take anybody out, which is good. So now the question is going to be, how much more do we do? This is not war. We're not at war, because I heard a lot of people say, we're at war. You should have went to Congress. We're not at war. These were military operations. They were one and dones. If we're going to be bombing nonstop 24/7, our men and women are going to be in harm's way. We're going to eventually have to have some boots on the ground. Well, then there's a conversation where you have to go to Congress to get that. But this was a one and done, and it was brilliant. I mean, it was a bob and weave. Went one direction, came back the next direction. Phew. And that was spot on. And the way that they worked it, fantastic. So one and done is not war. Even though Thomas Massie would like to think it's war. Man, and he was, he's an interesting cat because he and Trump, they're battling it out.
I assume you read it.
Can you put the post on the screen? It's like a dissertation. I know he went to Wharton, but I bet he never wrote a paper that long when he was at Wharton. But it's amazing that the president of the United States, the guy who launched 7 B-2 bombers to the other side of the planet to bomb targets over there and returned them, he got up and spent 15 minutes writing a tweet about a Republican, not a Democrat, a Republican congressman from Kentucky. I responded to that tweet, actually quoted it, and I just said, President Trump's declared so much war on me in the last day that it should require an act of Congress at this point.
Yeah. That's Massie earlier with Tim Pool. And look, I like that Massie wants it. Here's one thing that Massie has is he's got the cojones to say that Congress itself has given up way too much power. Both sides kind of give the presidency almost a monarchy feel where they can kind of do what they want. And they've allowed them to usurp their power. That's a them thing. He's not about that. But this is not war. This here is not war. And the people in Kentucky seem to like Massie. So I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. But this is a interesting thing. Once again, missiles fired from Iran towards U.S. bases in Qatar and Iraq. Looks like nothing happened outside of them exploding in the sky. I don't know if any got through and hit elsewhere. But now what? That's a big question. Now what? Are they going to come again? Or was this the one and done? And I remember when I was in England, the IRA when I first went over there as a young kid, they would phone ahead and say there's a bomb in a truck, evacuate this neighborhood. Because they realized killing a whole bunch of people didn't get them the sympathy they wanted. They wanted press. They didn't want to kill a bunch of people anymore because that didn't do them any good. They just wanted the press. I think this was more of a press shot by Iran to their people saying, look at what we did. We're not afraid of the great Satan, as our good friend Bell put it. Coming up, who knows what else we'll talk about. We got a lot of other stuff. I just don't want to do this all day. But the reality is it's war, and sometimes war-ish. Not war for us, but war for everybody else. And, it's kind of hard to say it's not war if you're having, missiles fired at you. But we're not boots on the ground yet, which is a good thing.